So in this lecture, I will be talking about genetic drift. So before we talk about the real topic, so let's talk about some of the common terminologies. So one of the common terms is phenotype, and another one is genotype. So the physical appearance or the features which can be visualized from outside is known as phenotype, and the internal genetic material or the genes or the genetic code, that is known as the genotype. So now it is the combination of the genetic material that leads to the variation in the phenotype. So as you might be aware that for every trait there are two different alleles. So let's say, for example, if we say that, let's say there is a color uh, red or yellow. So for red, if a person's hair, let's say, appear red, then he may be having a homozygous allele, that is two alleles which are RR, and if it's yellow, then it's not RR, or you can say small rr. So if there is two different kind of homozygous alleles, then there is the phenotype is the visualized. What we see is the phenotype that is evident, and if there is heterozygous, then the one which is dominant allele is visible as a phenotype. So after this, a little bit recall. So let's see, move a little bit further. So as you might be aware that natural selection has been proposed as a mechanism for the populations to evolve. So here there is a little bit variation to this, that natural selection, it is not the only mechanism through which populations evolve. So there are different mechanisms as well. So as you might be aware that in some of the previous lectures I talked about that the natural selection leads to change in the phenotype of the organism, or one can say that for the better adaptability of the organism, the natural selection acts as a pressure. So except that there are some more features which are also responsible for the change in the population or the evolution or better adaptability of the population. So gene flow is one of the parameters. So gene flow, it is the movement of allele between two different populations. So if there is exchange of genetic material, or if there is movement of alleles between two different populations, that may also lead to natural selection. Now this particular gene flow, it could be because of, let's say in this particular example, this is population A and this is population B. Now if some of the individuals of this population A, they could migrate and they could join the population B. So this particular gene flow, it could occur if an individual joins a new population and there it reproduces. So the alleles which this particular individual which is carrying from population A becomes the allele or mixes with the new population gene pool. So the alleles, they are removed from its former population, are added to the new population. Now this leads to the increase in the genetic variation in the receiving population. So earlier the two different populations, population A and B, they might be having a little bit different variation. But now, since let's say population A, one of the individuals or couple of individuals, they moved and they joined the population B. Now this brings the variation, or it increases the variation of the individuals which are living into that population B. So here's another example. So here in this particular example, you can see that some of the seeds, they could fly and they could join or they could grow in an area which is a couple of kilometers away. Now this will add to the genetic diversity of the area where these seeds grow. If they don't travel or if they don't move to a different location, then obviously their genetic variation will be low. So gene flow keeps the neighboring populations similar. So if let's say there are two different populations which have a little bit of distinct characteristics, now because of the movement of the individuals from population A to population B or from population B to population A, there is exchange of the alleles. Now this exchange of alleles could ultimately after a couple of years, or let's say several years, it will lead to the similarity of the two different populations. So the less gene flow that occurs, the more genetically different the two populations will be. So if the population A and population B, they are completely isolated, then in that particular case, their genetic makeup will be different. So if the gene flow occurs, then it is possibility that their genetic makeup may be quite close. So the low gene flow increases the chance that the two population will evolve into two different species. Now this is one typical example here. There are two bugs, this Megalodion leviti and Megalodion zephyrum. So they are two different species. So here you can see this characteristically different. So it's not only that their hump or the back part is different, their tentacles and their legs and hands, they are also different. So over a million of years of this particular population leads to the variation in this particular gene pool. So talking about the definition of the genetic drift, it is change in allele frequencies due to chance and causes a loss of genetic diversity. So it is most common in the small populations. So let's see this particular example here, generation 1, where two different color beetles are shown, and this is generation 2. So if they reproduce, then there is a variation in the size, the color of these beetles. And if by chance, let's say these populations, if some of these populations they get killed, then obviously there will be the little of these populations will be left, and the genetic variation it could be less because of the lesser survival of the individuals. So this genetic drift, it could be of two types. So number one is the bottleneck effect, or second one is the founder effect. So this genetic defect, before we talk about the different type of genetic defects, so let's see what are the effects of genetic drift. So this genetic drift, because of this, the populations they lose genetic variation. So more is the genetic drift, lesser will be the genetic variation. So by this it means that more and more population individuals, they are moving out of one population and mixing with the another one. So now this mixing of populations will lead to the lesser or reduction of the genetic variation. Now with this little variation, a population is less likely to have some individuals that will be able to adapt to a changing environment. Now let's imagine if these two different populations, they are having almost the same kind of individuals. Now in case of any mishap or a natural catastrophe, let's say forest fire or drought, or let's say flood, so those individuals, since they are almost similar, their chances of survival will be almost similar. So very less for the individual survive, or the adaptability of the individuals will be similar in both the cases. So it is quite possible that only few individuals will survive. However, on the contrary, if the two different populations are having different gene pool, and there is more of variation, so there was less of genetic drift and there's more of variation. So it is possible now, because of the natural catastrophe, the population A or the population B may have better chances of survival. They may have better adaptability to the nature. So any lethal allele may be carried in the population by heterozygous individuals and become more common in a gene pool due to chance alone. So if the individuals which are carrying heterozygous alleles, now because of the dominant allele, it is quite possible that the recessive allele is not expressed. However, even when this heterozygous population, if they are just left alone or only few individuals are there, then it is quite possible that those recessive alleles, they may also express. Now those recessive alleles, they may be responsible for the disease, or they may be responsible for the lesser adaptability of those individuals. So now, what is a bottleneck effect? So a bottleneck effect is, so let's imagine there is a natural catastrophe. Now because of this natural catastrophe, now most of the individuals, they could be wiped off. So now because of these, most of the individuals they are wiped, only few individuals are left. And now those few individuals, they are left with very few genetic variation. And now this very few genetic variation, if they pass on from couple of generation, their survival instincts will be very less. So in a way we can say a population bottleneck event can lead to genetic drift, or the overall genetic variation could be less, since only few individuals will be left after a bottleneck event. So those individuals, they will be almost similar. There will be very low genetic variation, or we can say it is this bottleneck effect could lead to genetic drift. So this particular bottleneck, it occurs only when there is drastic reduction in the population size. Now because of this drastic reduction in the population size, it is known as the genetic drift. So initially it is possible that some of the organisms may be in, let's say, thousands or hundred thousands, and after some kind of natural chance or some kind of natural calamity, only few individuals are left. Now those few individuals, they may be having either better survival ability or they may be poor at survival. So it is quite possible that in those individuals some of the heterozygous alleles may be present. So those heterozygous alleles, they may have some of the symptoms, some of the alleles which could be responsible for some genetic disease. So this bottleneck effect, it leaves very little genetic variation. As we saw that now because of this catastrophe, only few individuals they are left. Now they will be having very low genetic variation. So let's see an example of this particular bottleneck effect. So this is a typical example of northern seals. So during the 1800s, because of the overhunting of these northern elephant seals, their population was reduced to just 20 individuals. So in the 70s, they were somewhere close to 100,000 of population. Now they were hunted for fun, pleasure and food, and their number drastically reduced. So in a way we can say from 100,000 they are just left with 20 individuals. So now these 20 individuals, they do not represent the whole genetic diversity of the population. They just represent a few individuals. Their genetic variation is very low, or we can say the genetic drift has occurred. Now since then the hunting was banned, and because of this now the population has grown over 100,000. Now this population of these 100,000 of North elephant seals, it has emerged or has developed only from 20 individuals. So because of this 20 individuals, now there is very little genetic diversity. So the second type of genetic drift is the founder effect. So in founder effect genetic drift, that occurs after the start of the new population. So it occurs when a few individuals start a new population. So let's see this particular example here. So here some of the plant species, they are growing with some bright different color flowers. Now if, let's say, by chance some of the birds, they pick up one or two flowers of different color, and along with the flowers, since they also contain seeds, so it is possible that in a different locations only those seeds will be sown and those flowers will grow with only one or two different colors. So here this yellow or blue color, it is the founder population, or one can say this is the founder effect in genetic drift. Now there are some more examples also about this particular genetic drift, and this is found in human populations also. So this founder effect was identified in the Amish population. So these Amish populations, they are almost 250 Amish people in the US and Canada today, and they live in small rural communities, mainly in Ohio, Pennsylvania and New York. So this present day population, it has just come up from 200 founder population. They migrated from Germany and Switzerland in mid 70s. So this group of individuals, now although they are huge like 250,000, but initially their forefathers or their founding population was just 200 people. So although they have simple lifestyles and they rarely intermingle or mix with the outside populations, so they are kind of very closed and introvert people. So they are just living within their community. So now, because of this particular little variation, so there were a couple of genes which were on, let's say there were some recessive alleles in this population which were, and initially they were heterozygous, and now they have become homozygous after a couple of generations. So now there's a condition or a disease condition which has been identified in this particular population, which is called the Elvis Van Creveld syndrome. So this is a typical condition which leads to dwarfism. So the kids which are born, they are very dwarf, and also they develop some extra fingers in their hands as well as in the legs. So this particular is kind of a side effect, or one can say that these kind of disease they could develop because of the genetic drift. And this genetic drift arose because of the lesser individuals which were the founding population of this particular huge community of 250,000 individuals. So let's see another example here also. So in this particular example, there were there's an example of a Dutch African population of Dutch in South Africa. So they descended from few colonies, and today this population has a little bit of issue. So here there was a one gene which was initially it was recessive, and that was associated with the Huntington's disease. Now since it has been a while, so their population after a couple of generations, this particular allele which was initially heterozygous, now it has become exposed, it has become phenotypically expressed when it has come into the homozygous form. So this particular population, now they have very high frequency of this particular genetic disease. So this Huntington disease, this is usually results in because of the nerve cells, and it could lead to the wastage of the part of the brain and degeneration. So this small population of the Dutch people, they are having this particular disease because the initial founder population, they were having some heterozygous allele which was kind of responsible for the Huntington's disease. So these kind of issues, they could arise when the founder population is really small. So genetic drift, it could lead to some kind of diseases in humans, and it is also responsible for the reduction in the genetic variation.